Hey everybody, this is May One King here, back with another video. Majority of it, I'm gonna be honest, it's mostly me rambling on about pieces of advice I wished I heard and listened to and ingrained in me before I went out and worked and did everything else. So this is non-scripted, so I apologize. Hope you enjoy. The first thing I would do would be save as aggressively as possible. Save, 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 just keep saving. Because when you still living with your parents or in-laws, family members, cousins, friends, whoever you're staying with, and then letting you stay over there with no rent or even as little rent as possible since you young, you 18, 19 or whatever. Just save as much as you can. Yes, it might feel nice to have the nice clothes, the nice games, to be going out, eating, drinking, whatever your idea of fun is. It's not always a smart thing to do, especially when doing it in excess. There's nothing wrong with having your fun, of course, but be moderate in it. Have a budget for yourself. If you end up going out for one night on a Saturday of all days and you end up spending like $200, you're going overboard, especially when your goal is to stack up as much money as possible. And what are you stacking up this money for? Sure, eventually you want your own spot, so rent, you gotta get an apartment. Then, even when you get an apartment, you don't want to be sleeping on the floor. Trust me, I slept on the floor. Air mattress first, the air mattress bust, and slept on the floor after that. So get yourself a better air mattress than me or an actual mattress, a bed frame, pillows, sheets, towels, because of course you gotta clean yourself, get some plates, some silverware, things of that nature. Of course, this might sound like common sense to other people, but try to plan this stuff ahead early so you're not just stacking up this money for no reason. Now, the second piece of advice is mostly to those who feel like saving money isn't enough or want their money to have motion, pretty much, is investing. Now, you can invest in Bitcoin, you can invest in stocks, ETFs, maybe do margin trading if that's possible. My best piece of advice on it is do your research because different companies specialize in different things. And of course, they're business at the end of the day. They have times where they don't make as much money. They have times where they make a lot of money because, maybe busy in December, January, holiday season, and slower the rest of the days. That's stuff to consider when investing. It's also helpful to research because, this company might been losing too much profit and is eventually gonna close down and whatnot. Of course, when the company closed down, you may not get a piece of your money back and whatnot. You might lose on a bunch of investment. Or say this, a better example. This was something I was investing in. Micron. Maybe you heard of them, maybe you haven't. Micron is one of the companies, one of the biggest producers in RAM. RAM, of course, is the things that go in phones, computers, laptops, all types of technology. And of course, they've been getting a lot of flack because it no longer sold RAM to the consumers and instead sold it all to a bunch of AI companies since, AI data centers, there's a big boom in it, everything else. And this is one of the stocks that actually gave me the most amount of money. My biggest regret was pulling out the money. Of course, I needed it for something, but, that's another topic of discussion. Is always do your research because things like those, like, again, a business, a company is changing their business model. So instead of supporting a consumer, they supporting other business, other consumers, which could even end up bad because a lot of people may not have as much faith in this stock, in this investment, Or it could be good because, well, yes, you might be screwing over the consumer. You can't buy RAM directly from them. It's not as cheap anymore. The value might go up because, again, it goes towards data centers and the AI and everything else. That looks good. That sounds good. There's still a lot of money being involved, being thrown around. So they're basically going to make some more money. Investors might invest more, actually. So it's always good to consider these things and always just do research. Research as much as you can when it comes to these matters. And if it's too confusing or just too much, try to back away a little bit, do modestly. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. And of course, don't fall for FOMO, fear of missing out. You already missed out on Bitcoin. You already missed out on, you know, making so much money during the pandemic and everything else. Don't have someone up in your ear talking about you gotta invest this or you gotta join this platform or you just missing out. Like, don't worry about it. Do the best you can. Start slowly and surely. Put your money in there. Don't take it out. And of course, be careful. Don't fall for any scams, any type of crazy recruitment programs or whatever. Trust something that's verifiable, that's FDIC insured, things of that nature. And always do your research. And a third piece of advice would be start on good terms and end in good terms. This can be anything involving life. If you're a religious person or getting back into religion, if you Muslim, Christian, Jewish, whatever your religion is, start on good terms. You are doing this to obey God, to be the best follower as you could be, and to basically submit to your God. So don't try to be hypocritical. Don't try to lie. Don't try to steal. Don't try to kill. Things of this nature. Now, of course, there might be exceptions. You killed a man, but it's for your self-defense and whatnot. It's for self-defense. This wasn't something you provoked and, you wasn't an oppressor, things of that nature. But, of course, this isn't one of the videos to discuss long on it. Do the best you can. And with people as well. Make a good first impression. And whatever your last impression is also good, too. If you start out at a job, it's your first job and whatnot. Work hard, do the things you're supposed to do. Of course, don't let anybody abuse you or whatnot. Don't let anybody talk bad about you and stuff like that. Hold your tongue. Don't talk back to customers. Don't try to argue. Go in, do your job, work as hard as you can, get out. Because regardless of whether you get fired or you have to move, you get sick, or you just tired of the job and you trying to go somewhere else. By you just being an approachable male or female, you nice, you friendly, you work hard, you're a genuinely good person. Even if, say, like the manager, you can't use as a reference because, I don't know, they just suck. You still have other people that may help you get a job, that may be your reference, that may put you in different paths and directions that maybe you didn't think of. Or they could just give you that piece of advice that, like, dang, I could actually take that. And plus, it's always good to have good connections. Work on networking skills as best you can. Networking isn't just for corporate and corporate boomers or whatever somebody else would say. And of course, even if you don't get the job and this and that, as long as you try your best and you apply yourself, that's all that matters. And it wouldn't help to also make a few friends along the way. Expand your skills. Be open to learning. After all, while a jack of all trades is a master of none, it is oftentimes better than a master of one. Always expanding your skills, always learning, always trying to get your next certification, finish your degree, take some more classes, things of this nature. It's always helpful because you never know when you want to change career fields. You never know when you want to have a side hustle. You never know when this is gonna work. This is gonna be successful for you unless you try it, unless you just go out there and actually do it. Now, of course, you gotta motivate yourself. You gotta be disciplined, and of course, do it within reason. Some things ain't made for everybody. Not everybody's meant to be a business owner. Not everybody's meant to go into the military. Not everybody's meant to go to college. But always be open. Always be willing to learn. Acquire as many skills as you can. Because you never know when one of your skills, because you are a jack of all trades, can be helpful. And even if you're not a jack of all trades, but just a master, hey, a master of one is better than having no skills at all. So I guess that's one way of thinking of it. And the final topic I want to talk about that I think is very important, especially nowadays with social media, with just FOMO and consumerism and all these other topics that's probably thrown around as big buzzwords on YouTube and algorithms and all this jazz. Being content. Being content with what you have, with the people you're around, with your situation in life, is one of the best skills, the best mindsets, just the best thing to do a lot of times. Now, of course, this isn't saying stay at the job for years and years that you absolutely hate. This isn't saying stay around toxic people who leave you down the wrong path and whatnot, who hurt you too many times, cheat on you, stuff like that. You know, just being content with the small things, being content that in the position you in can be more peaceful than just always trying to hustle, hustle, and hustle. Always trying to reach these heights to, get all this money, be so jacked and this, that, and the third. There's nothing wrong with, getting a little bit of muscle. But when you're using all these different often market supplements, using steroids and this and that, that becomes a problem. All right. When you working yourself to death, you trying to do this, you adding extra stress in your life. All for what? So you can have a few extra drinks, so you can show off to people who don't even care at all about you. So you can try to go on expensive dates with women who wouldn't even look your way at all, who wouldn't even spend a single dollar just to show some appreciation. Like, just things of that nature. You know, of course, always, do better for yourself if you could. But sometimes just taking a step back, looking at a situation and thinking to yourself, I'm still comfortable. I'm still in a good situation. My life isn't terrible. There are others who may just be like you, same face, same height, same everything, who don't have the freedom of movement, the same opportunities as you, that wish they can be in your position, and you over here complaining about, I don't know, missing fries in a bag or something small like that. So be content. Like, subscribe. Thank you for listening. See you later.